Hello, and welcome to the Without Judgment podcast, where we dive into how to connect with yourself and others in all the seasons of your life. I'm Virginie, your host, and every month I'll bring you new insights about life coaching and how it can help you be present and have more fun in your daily life. I am a life coach on a mission to help working moms get rid of guilt and overwhelm to get back to a lighter, happier versions of themselves where they can shine and have fun. I really want this podcast to help you take time for yourself and discover how to live the life you deserve. So hold my hand and let's go. Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of Without Judgment. Today I want to talk to you about decluttering your mind, what it is and how to do it. So I bet a lot of you have done some spring cleaning, and maybe you haven't done it yet, or maybe you don't usually do it, but for people who do spring cleaning or spend any time on decluttering their house, I want to tell you that in decluttering your mind is just as important, because it's not just about the stuff. Usually what we do with our house or with everything that's in there, or what we do even with our calendar or the to-do list that we have, is just as important as what's cluttered in our mind, because what we are thinking about and how we're thinking about how it's organized in our mind is usually reflected in the way that we live the rest of our lives. So since the human brain is processing around 60,000 thoughts per day, I just wonder if have you ever stopped to look at what thoughts are serving you and what thoughts are not serving you. The spring cleaning idea, or how to declutter your mind, is really about that. The final idea behind this process is to help you decide, after observing what's going on in your mind, what do you want to keep, what is helping you make progress, and what do you want to let go of. Because this is maybe kind of a habitual thought that you're having, but it's actually not serving you. That kind of thought can be, a lot of judgment that you may have around what you do, or calling you by little names that are not the nicest, and that's usually not serving you. So here are a few tools that I like and I've tried and that I usually use in my process when I'm doing my own decluttering. So the first I want to mention is the scheduling. Scheduling free time or scheduling boring time. As maybe a type of meditation, or just to hang out with yourself without planning anything for at least 10 minutes a day, to quiet your mind or just to listen to what's happening there. That's very helpful. Then another thing that I like to do is to journal, or some people like to call that their brain dump or morning pages, and that's really a time that can take however long you want, from 5 minutes to 15 minutes to even longer if you want to or feel the need to do more. And that's about just emptying what's in your brain. It can be a task list, it can be just whatever is coming to your brain, like I don't know what to talk about, and you can write that. If you do not like writing or journaling, even though I have to mention that the actual action of writing with your hand on paper is really helping to process. If you don't enjoy that, try to make it easy and think of maybe telling a story or just recording all the thoughts that are in your mind as if you were talking to an assistant or talking to your therapist, if you want to vent about whatever is going on. That's just as helpful. And then you can use an app to transcribe all the text if you want to process it and really kind of organize it by priorities. Going back to my toolbox, I want to mention that another thing I do almost daily is my self-coaching. And to do my self-coaching, I use Brooke's model. Brooke Castillo is the mentor that I have, the person who created the school I went to for my certification, the life coach school. And the model that she uses to coach everybody and that I use too is represented by 5 letters. The first is about the circumstances, so what's going on in your life. Then it's about downloading your thoughts about what's happening. Once you have the thought that's going on in your brain, you can move on to the feeling part. And after establishing what you are feeling, you can look at what you are doing, or maybe what you are avoiding to do in this situation. And the final thing that we look at is the results. What is it bringing to you? And is it what you are after? So I'll put it in the summary of the episode. The letters that represent that are CTFAR for circumstances, thoughts, feelings, action, and results. And if you want to know more, feel free to reach out to me, and we can chat on the phone, and I can explain it to you a little in more depth. Then another tool that's really helpful when decluttering your mind is to do some weekly meeting with either an accountability partner, maybe a personal coach, a business coach, to really not only think about what's going on with your own point of view, but bring it to someone else who can help you see what is not evident to you. Acting like a mirror, like you are bringing all the thoughts that are in your brain and all the actions, all the details about what's happening, but having someone help you figure out what's really going on, especially if you feel stuck on a project, that can be really helpful. And the more you do it, the faster you're going to get to the results that you want. Then another tool that I like in my toolbox is the planning that I do. The planning that I do weekly, monthly, quarterly, and on a yearly basis, and the review. It's not always perfect, but what I've learned over the years of trying to do that is that the better I plan, the more prepared I am, and the faster I'm going to be able to reach the goals that I have on my list. It can be about contacting some people, writing some content, or just doing my taxes. It can be about, getting my kids registered for school or some activities. It can be about planning a trip and booking our flights or our hotels, reaching out to some friends that maybe I want to meet soon. Whatever it is, it can be a business project, a personal project. It's just really helpful to have kind of longer term vision about what you're about to do, because then you can see how much time do I want to give myself for each of these, like how high on my priority list is it. And then the last thing I wanted to mention about the tools that I'm using to declutter is the actual physical decluttering of your space. Is really, it's going to mirror what's in your brain. So the cleaner, the more organized, or the less cluttered your thoughts are, the better the space surrounding you is going to look like, because it's usually a reflection of what's happening in your mind. And the more you practice, the easier it's going to get. But you need to start somewhere. Now, after sharing all those tools, I wanted to give you a little example of what it might look like when I do my decluttering, especially if there is a lot going on and I might feel some overwhelm creeping up in my mind and a little stress coming up. Usually what I do is that I set a timer for 15 minutes. Sometimes I have to run it twice if there is really a lot going on. But just to keep me accountable to whatever time I decide is enough to download whatever is on my mind. So I have a better view of, okay, I have all of the things on my mind, but probably half of it doesn't need to happen in the next week. So I can write it somewhere else where I know I will retrieve it in my project management system, or I can write it somewhere else in my calendar if it's coming up later. And that's usually bringing down the stress level and the overwhelm pretty quickly. Then I can spend another 15 minutes and really plan for whatever needs to happen in a shorter time. That's the first step that I would recommend for you, to really write down all the things that are on your mind, just to, kind of unload whatever is on your mind so you can have a better perspective on what's going on. And then what I like to do when I have more time is to think of all the areas of my life, and for that you can download a life wheel. Usually there are 6 to 8 different categories for your life, like your health, your relationship, your work, your money, your learning or growing area, and maybe your what's fun or your rest time. Other people put also spirituality, or maybe you divide whatever is going on in your personal life and your work life. And it depends on what's really the priority of the moment. Like, where do you feel pretty solid, where you have good routines, good habits, and you're making the progress that you want, what you're making, you're like on a journey and everything seems kind of under control and on track. And what do you think that you could benefit from reflecting a little bit more about what's going on, so that you feel you have it more under control? So once you have that brain dump in whatever area that you're thinking of, you can imagine that you're visiting a city and you can take a look at a different neighborhood. You can do it all at once. You can do it, maybe choose to visit a neighborhood a day or a neighborhood a month and make it your new priority. And you can name it what you want. You can have, okay, today I'm going to visit the thoughts about work, and tomorrow it will be my thoughts about my family relationships, and maybe on Wednesday I'll look at my parenting style, and on Friday I'll explore the past and what's led me to where I am today. Another way that you could look at it is that can be the actions or the kind of focused area of your life. Maybe you have a day where you look at your creative self, and one day about what are the thoughts that I see coming back and again, and that I often hear in my mind, whether I want them or not, and what am I doing? What do I want to do with them? Do I want to keep them? Do I want to be more conscious about what's happening and maybe let some of those thoughts go? Do I want to change some of them? Do I want to just try something new and see how that goes? And that's also a good idea for things that you may want to try when decluttering your mind. I just want to really encourage you to be curious first, and almost like, people talk about time inventory, do a thought inventory. What's going on? And once you have that awareness level, then you can work further. The next step after letting go of the things that you observe are not serving you in the best way is to choose, what do I want to keep and why? Like, what are the best thoughts? What are the good questions that I can ask myself when I feel stuck somewhere? Maybe I tell myself that I don't know what's the next step. What else can I come up with to make me move forward a little bit faster? And as always, if you want to know more, you feel free to book a free call with me, what I call the AAA for the mind call. And let's just chat and see if coaching could help you. Finally, I want to mention that I have a new workbook, a free workbook to download that's called Stop the Overwhelm in 3 Easy Steps. And you're welcome to go online and download it. It's on my Instagram, it's on my Facebook page and LinkedIn as well. And that's it for today. I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye. If you found this interesting today and would like to dive deeper, I invite you to book a free 30-minute mini session with me on the website at without-judgment-coaching.com. Again, that's without-judgment-coaching.com. I can't wait to meet you. Talk to you next month. Bye.